The Mirador Caballo Blanco. Welcome, time travelers, to the Mirador Caballo Blanco, one of the most charming corners of Pamplona's old medieval quarter. Today, we'll stroll through 800 years of history in just 8 minutes, which is impressive considering medieval people needed 8 minutes to just lace up their boots. Imagine Pamplona in the Middle Ages. Narrow streets, defensive walls, church bells ringing, and the smell of, well, let's say, unregulated livestock. On the highest part of the city stood the Burgos of Pamplona, 3 fortified districts that absolutely refused to get along, like siblings fighting over the last piece of tortilla. Up here, on the bridge overlooking the Arga River, stood what would become a Mirador del Caballo Blanco, a viewpoint that screams, "Take a picture here," long before Instagram was invented. We're on the grounds on the Rincon del Caballo Blanco, in the historic Burj of Navarria, which was partly controlled by the Knights of the Order of the Temple. Yes, the famous Templars, the original men in white cloaks who looked like they were on their way to biking Comic-Con. The area near the viewpoint was used as a lookout and gathering point for soldiers who wanted to see who was approaching the city, and for nosy medieval neighbors who wanted to see who was approaching each other. The name Caballo Blanco? Why? White horse? Well, the name comes from an old inn or tavern that once stood in the area called El Caballo Blanco, because even in medieval Pamplona, people loved naming bars after animals that had no intention of ever visiting them. Did a real white horse ever show up? Possibly. Did it buy a round of drinks? Highly unlikely. By the 14th century, the whole area became a key part of Pamplona's defenses, earning a reputation as a lookout, a defensive wall section, and a great place to complain about politics. During the Navarrese Civil War, French invasions, and the later Castilian rule, these walls were patched, rebuilt, knocked down, rebuilt again, and patched again. Think of them as the medieval version of ongoing street construction that never ends. As Pamplona grew and modernized, the Mirador area gradually went from defensive stronghold to a beautiful, peaceful viewpoint. Houses and convents sprouted nearby, along with a growing number of locals who came up just to watch the sunset and pretend they weren't procrastinating other responsibilities. The viewpoint developed a reputation as the romantic place in Pamplona, perfect for first dates. If your date didn't show up, at least the view wouldn't leave you. In the early 1900s, artists and writers discovered the viewpoint. Hippies, painters, poets, everyone adored the scenery. This spot became the birthplace of serenades, outdoor gatherings, questionable guitar playing, and extremely censored but confusing poetry. Restoration efforts in the late 20th century polished the walls, restructured nearby buildings, and added safety railings to tourists who wouldn't recreate medieval falling techniques. Nowadays, the Mirador del Caballo Blanco is one of the Pamplona's coolest scenic viewpoints. Overlooks the Arga River and its green valley. The cathedral sits right by the historic medieval walls, and it is best for wines, next to bars and terraces that magically lure visitors. During San Fermin, which is the festival, every July, it becomes a quieter refuge where you can catch your breath before the next round of fiesta. Although, you may still spot a stray giant puppet wandering by. The place is popular for weddings, guitar nights, tourist selfies. It's just one more drink moments, and yes, you will hear at least one person say, "Wow, this looks like a movie." Local lore says that if you stand on the viewpoint at sunset and make a wish, a white horse will carry it off into the wind. Real horse? Maybe. Metaphorical horse? Could be. Horse-shaped cloud? No one knows. But it's charming legend, and let's be honest. Any place with good wine, stone walls, and magical horses is a win. The Mirador del Caballo Blanco is more than a scenic spot. It's a small chunk of medieval Pamplona that has survived many wars, times, and generations after generations of terrible serenades. Today, it stands as one of the city's most beloved corners, where visitors can soak in centuries of history and maybe spot that mystical white horse after a couple of drinks. So to sum up, the Mirador del Caballo Blanco in Pamplona's old medieval quarter is one of the city's most iconic viewpoints. Perched in the historic walls of the Maria, it overlooks the lush valley of the Arga River and offers one of the best sunsets in northern Spain. The spot takes its name from an old inn called El Caballo Blanco, once gathering place for travelers, musicians, and neighbors who came for wine and stayed for the view. Surrounded by stone walls, charming terraces, and remnants of the Templar-era defenses, the viewpoint blends centuries of history with a peaceful, romantic atmosphere. Today, it is a favorite stop for locals and visitors alike. That's it for today. I hope you enjoy Mirador de Caballo Blanco, and I will see you again tomorrow as I explore Spain and its history and culture. This is Atida saying, remember, God will take you places you never dreamed of. Until tomorrow, buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, hasta mañana.